Hello YouTube family, Greg D here with TJ, and we are back for another DCUO video. And today I thought I would give my honest review of the Death of Superman Part 2, since we have played it several times at this point. So if you guys missed the live stream from yesterday, go check that out, where I did play the live stream with, or not the live stream, I played the Part 2 with this character and also our Let's Play character, the Sorcery DPS. So, for those of you who don't know or aren't paying attention, Death of Superman Part 2 did launch on June the 6th, which was an 8-player raid featuring a fight with Doomsday. And at the end of the raid, there's a cutscene where, like in typical the Death of Superman comic book storyline, Superman and Doomsday hit each other for that one last punch, and Superman's dead, Doomsday's dead, and Supergirl whisks Superman off to, the Kryptonian matrix, healing matrix chamber, or whatever you want to call it, to go revive Superman. So, all in all, I didn't play the Tier 9 version of the raid, just because I figured that I wouldn't get through it. I wanted to play the event version so that I could see everything for myself. And honestly, the mechanics were pretty simple. I mean, some of you kind of heard this if you were paying attention or watched the live stream, but the mechanics of the actual raid itself were pretty simple. But I will admit that the raid was pretty fun, because at some point it's like, you have to get Doomsday's health down to a certain point, then you have to activate all the Kryptonian guns to give him a Kryptonian shot that will help weaken him so that you can do more damage, and then you have to do it again. So it kind of repeats itself. So that's what I mean by the mechanic is pretty simple. But all in all, I think it was a fun raid. It was different. There were things where Doomsday jumps in the sky, and we haven't really seen too much of that. The Doomsday animation itself has been much improved. Where they obviously, and I've said this before, they've jacked up Superman's face, or at least I think that they've jacked up Superman's face as far as the animation. But Doomsday looks a lot better to me than he did when the game first came out, and when you first roll through, when you first roll through, let's say the Smallville alert. Doomsday looks way better. And also, don't forget, too, that you can get the 80th anniversary Superman emblem. So if you are interested in collecting that style, it's a chest piece, then by all means do so. But overall, I mean, I kind of wish that, knowing where they went with Part 2, I wish that Part 1 wasn't necessarily an open world mission. Now, I know that they had, several open world missions for Part 1, and you could pretty much finish them within, about a half hour. Maybe 20 minutes if you were really quick about it. But knowing what they did now for Part 2 of the whole story arc, I kind of wish that Part 1 would have been more of an alert, and kind of involved more of the Justice League as opposed to the open world mission stuff. I mean, I kind of wish it would have followed maybe the comic books a little more. I understand DC's trying to put their own spin on the whole storyline itself, which I understand, and I think that's cool. But like I said, knowing how they went ahead with Part 2, I feel like Part 1 should have been an alert or a duo or something like that, where you kind of get your first introduction and first little brawl with Doomsday. Maybe you get the help of the Justice League, so maybe that's why it's not so short and everything. But, and maybe they could have done something where, the heroes, maybe if they would have done a duo, let's say, maybe the hero version and the villain version would have been, they would have ended up in the same place, with maybe you having, a brief boss fight with Doomsday, being able to basically, how they did with the open world stuff, repel him just enough so that, Superman could come back into the fight. And maybe the hero and villain side, like I said, up to that point would have been a little different. So maybe you're focusing on the hero side, focusing on trying to get people out of the way, save civilians, and maybe you run into some mini-bosses, some villain mini-bosses along the way. And maybe for villain side, I don't know, maybe you're trying to get the civilians, and you're trying to help Lex Luthor, let's say, and trying to get DNA from the civilians that have been attacked by or whatever. I mean, they kind of did that with the open world missions, but I feel like it would have been better if it would have been like a duo or an alert. And I'm hoping that part 3, and obviously we'll find out in probably the last week of June, we'll find out. But I'm really hoping that for part 3, they kind of incorporate somehow either Black Suit Superman, him with the recovery suit and the long hair and everything, or they incorporate the reign of the Superman somehow. So having Cyborg Superman, Steel's obviously in the game, Superboy's obviously in the game, but having the Superboy style from 1993 when the storyline first came out, and having maybe the Eradicator, doing something like that, I think would be really cool. Even if they don't necessarily keep those characters in the game per se, I think it would be cool to have them as a cameo. Maybe part 3 is another raid or an alert where you have to help. You fight alongside. Maybe you fight alongside the Superboy and Steel and the Eradicator and the weakened Superman to get to the Cyborg Superman. How the actual comic book played out. So I think that would be really cool. And maybe, just maybe, they could keep the characters like the Superboy from 1993 and the Eradicator. Maybe they could keep those characters for Legends PvP, Legends PvE. Maybe. I think that would be really cool to see. That's just me. I don't know what you guys think, but maybe. That's what ideally I would like to see. So that's all I got for you. Some of you guys will agree with me. Some of you guys will disagree with me. That's okay. But like I said, that's what I'd like to see moving ahead into part 3. Like I said, hopefully we get to see the reign of the Superman. But overall, the raid itself for part 2 was a lot of fun. Easy, like I said, simple mechanics. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. The cutscenes were good. Like I said, right along with the comic book storyline with DC's, own little twist in there. So it's cool. All in all, though, I think it was a good job. I think part 2 is a lot better than part 1. Let's put it that way. So with that being said, guys, that's all I got for you today. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget that if we hit 3,500 subscribers by the end of this month, we will be doing a giveaway. So do what you can to help out. Smash that thumbs up button. Share this. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell your wife. Tell your kids. Whatever you got to do to help out would be greatly appreciated. You guys have been really helpful to me over the last few weeks, and I want to give it back. So thank you guys once again, and until next time, we'll see you soon.